Whether General Shinseki knew about these problems or not, he should have known about them.
Reaction to the resignation of VA Secretary Eric Shinseki, including Senator John McCain, who you just heard from. He was here in the 12 News studios as the president made the announcement. We're taking you live to Washington, D.C. for more of what happens from here. And hundreds gathered right now to say goodbye today to an officer killed in the line of duty. This is a live look at the memorial service for Officer Jair Cabrera, how friends, family, and law enforcement members are honoring his memory. 12 News at noon starts now.
Connecting Arizona. This is 12 News at noon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for watching 12 News at noon. I'm Stacia Naquin. We're going to take you back live to the services for Officer Cabrera. But first, the big story out of Washington today that all started right here in Phoenix. Eric Shinseki, the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, resigned today. That was just after he addressed the National Conference of Homeless Veterans, where he announced changes to the VA system, including firing senior leaders here in Phoenix. And he apologized to his fellow veterans, and then just hours later resigned. And we want to go right now to Steve Handelsman, who joins us live with the latest from Capitol Hill.
Thanks. Good day. This is about millions of veterans and whether they get the medical care they deserve. But it had also become too much in the eyes of the White House and in the mind of Eric Shinseki about the general. To end that today, he leaves the battlefield. At the White House, VA Secretary Eric Shinseki told President Obama that he wants to fix the mess at the VA, but believes instead someone else has got to do it. And President Obama accepted the retired four-star general's resignation.
He does not want to be a distraction because his priority is to fix the problem and make sure our vets are getting the care that they need. That was Rick's judgment on behalf of his fellow veterans. And I agree. We don't have time for distractions. We need to fix the problem.
This morning, the VA secretary stepped up his rhetoric, telling a homeless veterans conference there was a lack of integrity by some at the VA in Phoenix, after investigators confirmed 100-day waits for care there and a cover-up by senior officials.
That breach of integrity is irresponsible, it is indefensible and unacceptable to me. But I can take responsibility for it, and I do.
Some in Congress who had demanded Shinseki leave are still sympathetic.
The people that served under him lied to him.
But Republicans say the buck stops with the president, not the VA secretary.
His resignation, though, does not absolve the president of his responsibility to step in and make things right for our veterans.
Mr. Obama promised a fix, and Shinseki on his final day fired top management at the Phoenix VA. Shinseki's relatively inexperienced top deputy, Sloan Gibson, takes over temporarily as head of the VA as the focus shifts back to exactly what happened in Phoenix and an effort, a much bigger, a more time-consuming effort to try to make sure that long waits and bad care and even cover-ups are routed out of the vast VA hospital system. Live from Washington, I'm Steve Handelsman reporting. Now back to you.
Now, Steve, we do want to ask you about the replacements from here. Here in Phoenix, we are talking about, as you said, a lot of leadership now gone from the VA here, and now we're talking about Shinseki out. So what happens from here as we talk about replacements?
Stacia, I think it's fair to assume a couple of things will happen. First of all, Rob Neighbors, who's the White House troubleshooter, who was there in Phoenix, I'm sure it was big news when he arrived, he will also be on the case, whether it's on the phone or in person there in Phoenix, pressing the investigation. They're going to look around, no question. It's what always happens after something like this in Phoenix, for somebody with integrity, to use the Shinseki term, somebody who knows Phoenix or maybe who just knows VA hospitals, who will come in there and shake things up. At the same time, we know the FBI's involved, and so possible criminality will be probed. So in Phoenix, you've got to believe, since everybody says most doctors there, most VA workers there wanted the care to be good, and since we know separately, Stacia, that the big problem is the wait and not what happened to veterans once they got to see doctors. Most veterans will tell you there and in every VA hospital, once they get in, they get great care, and nobody disputes that. So that's what will happen in Phoenix, and they hope here in Washington, Stacia, that ripples out, and administrators around the country look and they go like, wow, there's a right and a wrong here. And not only that, people are watching us. We're going to make sure that this hospital, whether it's in Maine or whether it's in California, is running the way it ought to be run. And the feeling here is that most VA officials, along with doctors and regular VA hospital workers, want things to run right and know how to get things running right. If they can get past the big backlogs, the hope is here they can do it. But it could take years.
You're right, and many questions across the country at hospitals, VA hospitals, and for our veterans and their care around the country. Steve Handelsman live there in Washington. Appreciate that report. And Senator John McCain spoke with 12 News First about this announcement. He was here in studio with us as this all unfolded. He says the president is letting Shinseki get away with using the excuse that he didn't know it was going on.
This was simply a scheduling problem, that they were going to fix this scheduling problem. Well, I think most of our veterans, and you'll be talking to them, will recognize that the problems are much deeper than that.
Senator McCain has much more to say about how this happened. You're going to want to see his entire interview with our own Bram Rusnick. Watch it this Sunday morning on Sunday Square Off. And Congressman Kyrsten Sinema reacted today as well, saying we now need to move forward. In a statement, she said in part, quote, now we need to focus on the caring of 3,100 Arizona veterans who need care immediately. I will push until these veterans have immediate access to care and all Arizona veterans receive the care and benefits they have earned. Folks, we want to hear from you about this news and what it means to veterans across the valley. Join the conversation. Head to our 12 News Facebook page and tell us what you think about this news of leadership stepping down. In other news, friends, family, and fellow law enforcement officers saying goodbye to Officer Jair Cabrera, who was gunned down last weekend during a traffic stop in Scottsdale. A memorial service held right now. You are looking live inside this morning at Christ Church of the Valley in Peoria. This was earlier, and we had live pictures just moments ago. 37-year-old Cabrera was on the force 7 years and is the first Salt River police officer ever to be killed in the line of duty. Many who knew him spoke of his character, his dedication to the community he served, and his passion for law enforcement.
I want to thank you all for coming here to honor my son. But more important than that, I want to thank you for what you do. You all police officers, firemen, paramedics, you do a very tough job, and it's with the best intentions. And I think we all should salute you just to see you passing by, because you guys do a tremendous job trying to make it a better world, not only for your own families, but for all of us.
Cabrera is survived by his parents, brother, and girlfriend. He will be buried at Phoenix Memorial Park this afternoon. And here are those live images there over the memorial service as the procession is about to begin. We understand it will head down 67th Avenue, then onto the 101 East to 7th Street. So again, live images there as that memorial service takes place. In other news now, evacuees waking up back in their homes this morning. The slide fire in Oak Creek Canyon just north of Slide Rock State Park, now 75% contained and has burned over 21,000 acres. Highway 89A is open to residents now. We will let you know when it's open to the public. The fire is believed to have been caused by someone. It's being investigated right now. And we want to talk about the forecast for this weekend. Jimmy Q standing by. Jimmy, it's already warm out there. How warm are we talking about today?
It's so warm that the temperature color-coded map is matching your dress. Coincidence? I think not. Anyways, 100 degrees right now for Phoenix, Glendale, 99. So we're definitely into the triple-digit numbers across most areas here in the county. as well as parts of Goodyear 101 and Buckeye 97 degrees. High temperatures for today this time of year, well, we should get to about 99. We're already past that mark on certain areas. 105 for today, and look at the records. 114 set back in 1910, so it has been a lot worse if you go back over 100 years. 105 for the high temperature today. It's going to be hot and sunny, but overall, not bad.
All right, thanks so much, Jimmy. Another announcement out of our nation's capital. Press Secretary Jay Carney stepping down. He is the president's second press secretary during his time in the White House. President Obama says he will be replaced by Deputy Press Secretary Josh Earnest when Carney leaves in mid-June. Still ahead on 12 News at noon. It's summertime. That means vacation season, of course. But there's something you may not have thought about that should be on your checklist. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk more about the weekend ahead out there. We know it's hot, but will that map continue to, as Jimmy said, match my dress? That's coming up next. Stay with us. So the kids are out of school. Temperatures are now well into the triple digits. It brings up an age-old debate. How far should you go to protect the money you're spending to go on vacation? And many folks get concerned when making tropical plans in particular, because remember, hurricane season officially begins this Sunday, making many of us wonder if travel insurance is really necessary. Well, CNBC's Kelly Grant says yes, you should, for many reasons.
Say you're flying and you're going to get on a cruise from there, you want to think about that domino effect. If something goes wrong along the way, what if you don't make it to the cruise?
She says travel companies are making it harder for you to get refunds if your trip doesn't go as planned. But she says don't buy insurance through the same company selling your tour because you want a neutral third party. And make sure the policy is tailored to your needs on your trip, especially if you're planning to go scuba or skydiving as part of that trip. Already, Jimmy, into hurricane season starting this weekend, Sunday.
That's right. It's going to go right through the end of last final day of November. And we're talking about the Atlantic hurricane season. Pacific goes a little bit longer, but the Atlantic is what affects the eastern seaboard a little bit more. Right now, just a couple of high clouds out there. 100 degrees already, and we're already at noontime. We're going to go up another 7 degrees by the time, 5 or 7 degrees by the time it's said and done. Just remember, if the temperature's only, say, 95 degrees outside, which already it's 100, after 30 minutes, temperature in your car can go to 128. So if it's well over 100, you can get there even quicker. Leave nothing in the car. Do not leave the kids. Do not leave pets in the car this time of year until November, till we finally cool off. And even then, I wouldn't do it. But anyway, 74 degrees for Flagstaff, 84 for Winslow. How about 110? Have not hit 110 yet. I've already hit 100, but usually around June 19th is our average. Not necessarily the record, but our average 110 degree plus temperature. Now, all the energy is going to stay up to the north for the weekend. It's going to get a little bit breezy here by Saturday and less wind on Sunday. Our radar, what happened to the moisture yesterday? It sort of moved over. We had a few sprinkles, but God, I was saying yesterday on my Twitter, I just wish I was wrong. I wish it opened up and it rained like crazy yesterday because we need the rain so bad. 84 degrees for the air quality forecast, so it's not good. It's not bad. It's right in the middle. How about rainfall? Average monthly rainfall? Well, April, we usually don't get too much. June, we almost get nothing. So usually got to wait till about July before we get anything. And, you know, we're still tracking El Nino. It's a long ways off. But if it kicks in the way we're thinking it could mean rain for December through probably next March. Could be a good thing for the Southwest. 105 today, 107 breezy tomorrow. Stacia, just dry. Great for walking the dogs and getting out in the mornings and in the evenings. Daytime temperatures after about 10 o'clock, you kind of want to go indoors.
I'm with you, though. I was hopeful that the sky would open up a little bit yesterday, too. A few more raindrops out there. All right, thanks, Jimmy. Taking a look now at some tech headlines this noon hour for you. Google allowing some people to take down links they don't like. They've taken steps to meet a ruling by Europe's top court, allowing citizens to request taking things down from the web. The company made a form online so those residents can submit those requests. Google did not make any specification as to when it would remove those links that meet their criteria, but did say experts will try and find a long-term approach to dealing with what's expected to be a mass amount of requests from the European Union's 500 million citizens. Well, now here's one that will get you talking this noon hour. If you are a parent of a soon-to-be high school grad, Well, many students are asking for money, a new laptop for school, but what if your daughter said she wanted breast implants as her graduation gift? It's a growing trend. Plastic surgeons say over the past 5 to 7 years, they've seen more and more girls coming in for their graduation present. Parents, if your teen comes to you, you have to remember those 17 or 18-year-old minds may not be psychologically ready, and implants are a lifetime commitment. We'll be right back. Here's an interesting question for you. Have you ever thought about why eyelids sag? Well, those droopy looks seem to come with age. A new study from researchers in the Netherlands studied the medical records of over 7,000 adults. They found saggy eyelids were most common in older adults, no surprise there. But they also found specifically men, those with lighter skin colors, and people who are overweight saw that droopiness more. Saggy eyelids, usually a cosmetic concern, can actually cause vision loss and headaches. And scary news for mothers of daughters who have polycystic ovarian syndrome. A new study finds they may have an increased risk of death. The syndrome is a condition that affects up to 10% of women of reproductive age. The research looked at death rates among mothers and fathers of 1,000 PCOS patients. They found mothers of these patients were 1.5 times more likely to die prematurely than the general population. Researchers say they aren't sure why, but say it's significant enough to warn them. We're going to get a final check of your forecast when we come back. Ooh, don't look down. Some scary moments for tourists as cracks appeared underneath them as they stood on a box on a ledge on the 103rd floor atop Chicago's Willis Tower. Officials say the crack was a coating designed to prevent scratches on the glass. But today, crews repaired that box, and they insist the structural integrity of the ledge, well, it's totally safe. I don't know. Jimmy, are you afraid of heights? You totally good with heights?
I am. I don't like jumping off heights, but I like heights. I don't mind
heights.
that.
So you would stand there, you'd be good.
No. No, they need to replace that thing. Yeah, it was just the coating. So.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, hopefully you're not too afraid of the heat because it's going to be a little bit warm today around the state. 96 degrees for Globe, 105 for Phoenix, 91 for Sedona, and 89 for Payson, the 7-day forecast. Here's where we go, 105 for Friday, and then Saturday, 107. It's going to be a little warm, a little breezy through the weekend.
You're running out of room on your 7-day there to fit all those temperatures in there.
It is getting crowded.
It's a lot of triple digits. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you back here at 4.